We're here talking with Doug and Emmett about legalizing marijuana in the state of California and the state of South Dakota. One of the questions you have a piece, I know, is talking about this past week. Dale Barcher and the Heritage Foundation had their 30-35 candidates, and they did a 1-minute piece from the Rapid State candidates about why they wouldn't legalize marijuana. What was your hearing about that? What is your general feeling about that?
You said that not a single one supported medical marijuana there.
Yeah.
Is that what came of it? I think it's disappointing. It's discouraging. There's a lot of people out there who have a family member or someone close to them they know is benefiting from medical marijuana. They need someone who's going to be a voice for them. And it's time for us to really come out about it and tell the world that we think our loved ones should be protected by the law as they are in most states and most places in America. The 22 states that have legalized medical marijuana are protecting those people. We should have the same rights in South Dakota.
Exactly. Versus also not only the medical marijuana aspect, but because we're an agricultural state, we need hemp here as well, because that would be such a boon to our economy in South Dakota. The biofuels, the building materials, fiber for clothing, the possibilities are limitless with hemp.
There's really a resource right in front of us that we need more than ever at a time when politicians and world leaders are arguing about shortage of resources and crunches in the economy. There's something right in front of us that can help us on the Indian reservations, in the small towns that are being depleted. We can grow a crop that is literally worth billions around the world. But who's harnessing that money? It's farmers in Canada who produce the hemp that we consume in the United States. We're the only industrialized nation on the planet that does not allow the legal industrial use of hemp. And I think that's outrageous. With the type of capabilities we have in South Dakota, we could be harnessing that revenue and that money. We could legitimize this and be a role model for the Midwest. Other states are taking that lead, so we want to be a voice here in South Dakota and talk about that and be someone here who's going to be the ones to advocate for what we think is really acceptable around the world. It's just something that has not really had its day or time in South Dakota yet, but we're going to get there.
A serious question. There was a piece in the Rapid City Journal like about a day or two ago talking about how in Colorado they caught two kids were selling marijuana in the schools because the parents thought it was an okay thing. And being that most senators in office, House and Republican stateside, feel that this is why they don't want it, and because they went from maybe a couple hundred to a couple thousand, they feel that these are some of the many reasons why this state, they won't get behind it. It's because of those activities, and they don't trust it. What is general feeling about that?
Well, right now, you have parents that are buying alcohol for their underage kids, and that's okay. And you don't hear much about that in the news. They kind of keep that hush, but it needs to be regulated just like alcohol. And if you're contributing to the delinquency of a minor, you should be.
I think we can't blur the issues together. There's something called responsible parenting, and there's something that's called irresponsible parenting.
Right, exactly.
We can be talking about different means of irresponsibility, whether that's buying your kids alcohol or buying them pot, or not sending them the right message. The legality of it is an entirely different aspect, which in fact has proven in a majority of states that have passed legal medical marijuana, they have actually seen decreases in teenage drug use. And who is that according to? The DARE program surveys initiated by the federal government. So we have non-biased information out there showing that legalizing it and regulating it the way it should be, meanwhile enforcing responsibility, not using it in public, having the conversation with your kids at the right time when they're ready, and doing the responsible things will lead to, I think, a better quality of life overall. You're getting more tax revenue, you're getting, more people are getting drug treatment who actually need it, who do struggle with addiction. Teenagers are getting an honest message. And what I find shocking, actually, out of the DARE survey results, marijuana has been a gateway drug in many situations, not because there's a chemical connection, but because when it is made illegal and when the DARE program over-exaggerates the risks and harms associated with marijuana, the young people actually gain a distrust with drug education as a whole. They ignore the message that yes, there is risks to drugs, there is risks to addiction. When you lie to them about marijuana, they can throw the information away about serious drugs that cause problems on the brain and their physical health. So it's really about being honest in our policy and being honest in the way we raise our children and the way we treat people in our society. Do people who struggle with drugs, are they bad people? Absolutely not. There are people who need our help, but we've gone the opposite direction for too long in South Dakota. The rest of the country's figuring it out. Incarceration rates are going down for nonviolent drug offenders, and we have to do the same thing in South Dakota.
Another one, what is the difference? There's like two types of marijuana. One is non-addictive for medical, and one is grown, I guess. And the legislators are not discerning that, and some are and some aren't.
Well, let me first say that I think marijuana itself comes in thousands of different variations. From one extreme where it's hemp, where it has no THC or such little THC that it cannot be consumed as a drug or get one high, but it can go to the other direction where it has a higher substance of THC. It can be used in serious medical conditions. It can be broken down and recreated into different compounds and forms and used in a multitude of ways. So it's really not just two. I would disagree that it's just two. It's many, because people are washing themselves in the shower with hemp soap, and it's helping them with skin health, and they're not getting high. And there's just a wide range. But some people do smoke it for medical reasons. Ask many MS patients who have used it to mitigate their muscle spasms when they wake up, and they can go through their day and live their normal day and work and get things done around the house, where many of these FDA-approved drugs have such strong side effects that many of them will say it'll get rid of the spasm, but they can't even get out of bed all day. So there's such a difference in the different ways that it's delivered, I think.
Correct, exactly. I agree with you.
But what are some ways, Doug, that you've heard that cannabis has been used?
The future treatment of cannabis oil for breast cancer, many different cancer-related illnesses, lesions on the skin, and the oil that is refined from the cannabis plant and is used to target those cancers. You do not get high off of it, but the molecular structure attaches to the cancer and essentially makes the cancer commit suicide and kill itself so that you're healed. And it's done all naturally.
More than honey.
And international organizations, many other countries, a coalition of heads of state have come together and said, we need to explore the properties of the cannabis plant that have been proven to treat the effects of cancer, including, like what Bill said, to actually shut down cancer cells and help people survive cancer. I mean, this is something we can't afford to deny. So that I think is one of the most remarkable reasons why we should legalize it and look into it. And that's the reason why I got into it, because my grandmother used it when she was suffering from cancer. And I will tell you that I think many cancer patients will sometimes even be able to have their final words with their loved ones only because of marijuana. And that, to me, is the single most important reason why it should be legalized. But the compassion card is, a really emotional side of it. We were talking about all these practical reasons, too. I mean, the economy of it, it just doesn't make sense when you put these policies in place. It's an unsustainable pathway. I mean, the prison industry is now privatized and profiting billions off of arresting marijuana users. Meanwhile, while addiction rates are going up, so we're not actually doing anything to stop drug addiction. In Portugal, however, they've decriminalized all drugs. They make available to anyone the treatment that they need if they struggle with addiction, and now they're seeing addiction rates plummet. So it's all about the approach, and it's about the just being honest and being practical.
So what I'm catching out of you, what I'm catching as a general statement is, you feel such organizations like what Dale Barcher's Heritage Foundation and such federal entities and government like the FDA are holding the hemp back because of the profits that they will not be getting?
I think Dale Barcher and those state lawmakers who have said that they are so opposed to medical marijuana is because they do believe in a lot of them in their hearts that they're doing the right thing. They've got concerns. There's an education that needs to happen. We need those world leaders to start conversing with leaders in South Dakota. Vicente Fox, the conservative former president of Mexico, has actually gone around to many major cities in the U.S. begging Obama, demanding Obama legalize marijuana and stop the bloodshed in my country, because our black market for marijuana has fueled endless criminal enterprise south of the border, and we've ignored it. In fact, our president's been caught red-handed actually contributing to it in the Fast and Furious scandal. There's a lot of different groups that are relying on prohibition to continue to survive. That's really the prison industrial complex and the criminals, and then people who just morally don't like marijuana. They just morally don't like it. They think it's a bad thing. And that's okay. But what we're just saying is that let's have a practical approach that gets us all on a common ground where we can agree we're doing the right thing, like keeping it out of the hands of children, helping people with addiction, helping our economy with all the uses of hemp, helping the farmers, helping with jobs. I mean, it's just a full spectrum of issues. So when you talk about the marijuana issue, it's not one issue. We're talking about criminal justice, agriculture, the economy, culture, and spirituality even. If you look at many ancient civilizations and different people around the world, how they incorporate it into their lives, it's always different.
Well, thank you.